All right, as we mentioned earlier, the embattled chairman of the IEBC, Wafula Chebukati, was expected to appear before the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, but he has sent a letter saying he will not be able to make it. Let's listen in.
Of course, I know the challenges we have currently is that we have 3 commissioners. There's a problem of quorum. And we have an acting CEO. So there's a big issue, and we want to tell Kenyans, let us be patient. We work on the process and be able to ensure that we put everything in line. So I want to appreciate for you coming. Unfortunately, because of the explanation I've given, the commission was not able to be with us this morning, but we will be able to advise when we are going to have a meeting with them. And as usual, as partners, we are going to partner together as we shape our country forward, especially with regard to some of the issues before us now. And I wanted to end there. You might wish to ask 1 or 2 questions? Yes? That is not really for us as a committee. Provision of security to the commissioners is really the business of PAP and the police, and in the ministry responsible for that function. And I think the letter is very clear. They are not able to appear before us because of the by-elections which are going on, not because of insecurity. And yeah, I think it's a good question. I don't think I've answered it. Any other? Yes? Well, you know, those who resigned, I believe, resigned on their own motion. The remaining 3 commissioners are commissioners duly appointed to serve in that commission. It is not the business of this committee to prevail upon those members remaining to resign. Ours is oversight, and that's why we want to meet them here. It will be upon them, because if you are a commission that is not functional, that cannot make a decision within the framework of the functions of that commission, then it follows that those commissioners, definitely being reasonable Kenyans and commissioners, will make a decision either way. But for us as a committee, we want to work on the legal framework that we think is going to help us, because the issue now is not even the resignation of the remaining 3. That could be an issue, but our concern is the bigger picture. How are we going to replace those who have resigned? And if the 3 remaining resign, how are we going to have the entire commission in place to serve that commission? Remember, we have budgetary allocations to IEBC. Those are public resources, should be safeguarded by a duly functional commission. So we don't want to narrow the issue to whether they should go home, the 3, or remain. We want to look at the bigger picture of how do we ensure that we have a legal framework that can enable this commission be fully constituted. And we get comments from everybody, and every Kenyan has a right to comment. Others have said they should go home. Others have said they remain behind. Those are comments. But it is not the official position of this committee that we say they should resign. But we are recognizing the fact that it is not functional, because there are 3 and they may not have the necessary quorum. That is difficult to give the time frame. because it can only be attained once we have the legal framework in place, and we are working on that now.
Question here.
Yes.
My assumption is when you wrote the letter on the 12th, for you to have convened today, which I think is 18,
Yeah.
you must have gotten a response that gave you a go-ahead to convene, because I don't believe Parliament would convene, or this committee would convene, in the absence of an express confirmation from the commissioners that they will be attending today.
Yeah.
So my question is, when you wrote the letter on the 12th, the commissioners had not resigned, I'm assuming. Did you get a response confirming they will be coming today?
Let me help my brother here. We don't consult the institutions with oversight. We fix a date, inform them, and they are under obligation to come and appear before us. So that's not the procedure. I recognize what you say, but that the procedure we have in Parliament is that this committee has the authority to invite an institution, and they confirm by, and that is why it was only up to this morning that we received a letter requesting that you adjourn this meeting for another day. So we are not under an obligation to receive a confirmation before confirming the date for the meeting. It's clear?
Okay, so they don't need to confirm this.
They don't need to confirm that.
They just show up on the date.
On the date, because they are under obligation to. Yeah, and that has been the practice, and it will continue to be the practice even as we move forward. Yes?
A follow-up question, but maybe don't you find it peculiar since the by-elections that they're claiming they were attending, they were slated for this day? I think that is what
Yes.
maybe they would have confirmed to you earlier on that they will not be available today since their by-election schedule.
Which they did not.
We can't speak.
Which they did not, and we cannot think for their on their behalf. What we are saying is before us now is a letter communicating to us why they are unable to appear. I agree with you, they should have been able to inform us much earlier, but they did not. But this morning, we have the communication from them.
So, Chair, would we say that they snapped this meeting? Would we just say expressly?
I don't want to agree with that position. If there was no communication, let me be very clear. Of course, speculations are there, and if if we did not receive a communication, formal communication written to this committee, I would have agreed with your proposal. But I think having this kind of a communication, and we have started as a committee, we are satisfied.
So for oversight purposes, there is a lot happening with the IEBC.
Yeah.
As a committee, are you confident that the IEBC has the capability to conduct all elections going forward? They have indicated that they have to conduct elections. But since you conduct oversight, are you satisfied that the IEBC is going to do the right thing and they finally get to
We don't know the circumstances of the by-elections.
You know, we are now going to deeper waters in terms of how the by-election will be undertaken, whether they will be openly, transparent. I don't want to really go that direction. All we know is that there is a by-election going on today, and you should be able to see the concern of the committee. That is why we are calling these members to come here, so that we understand with them how they are going to undertake their operations, even with the challenges they have. Because that is a situation that has arisen, which was not there when this date for the by-election were actually fixed. And we don't want to, and I think this will be the last one. Let me say that that is an issue which we don't want to engage as a committee. We don't even know if it is true. All I read in the paper. I don't have the formal confirmation that indeed the security officers for those commissioners were actually withdrawn. And problems with the committee here is a committee of procedure of record. We cannot be able to comment on something we are not very sure. And if indeed it is true that there was a withdrawal of security officers for the commissioners, there is a procedure of raising that complaint to the relevant department. If there was a problem, we could receive a formal communication from the commission. Then we could take up that issue from there. And I think it is important we move that direction so that we don't find ourselves in every situation, even when we don't have the actual position. So we don't want to go that direction. But of course we know these are issues which will be dealt with by the relevant department. Yeah.
If you can make copies of the letter.
We'll give you copies of this letter.
Yes.
It's a public document. We already have it. We will give you enough copies so that you to confirm that there was indeed a communication. So we'll make enough copies. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are glad that we've been able to answer a few questions, but let us pass the information accurately. We want to appreciate what you did yesterday. Today we were able to really read in the papers what has been happening, and that is very important. Our country must proceed. There are always challenges in institutions, and the business of this committee and leadership is to have solutions for those challenges, because we can run away from challenges that will always come to our institutions. So thank you very much, and we will be advised when we are going to sit again with the commission, and I believe you will be joining us also so that we move together. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
All right, so that is how that matter concludes. IEBC Chairperson Wafula Chebukati has written to this committee asking to be given a new date. He says that he and his commission and of course understaffed. Now there are only two plus himself, and they have a lot to deal with two by-elections happening in Kinondo Ward in Kwale and Rogoro Ward in Nyeri County.